Welcome to Conversations and Cocktails at Cafe Racer with Cindy Ann. Today we're interviewing Marta Konstacky here up in the Obama room at Cafe Racer. And if you'd like to see any of our future interviews, just push the follow button below. And just so you know, this is a special interview because I drank the cocktail before the interview started. Hey, and welcome to Conversations and Cocktails at Cafe Racer. Today, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background because you should know that I've already done this interview, and so I've already drank most of my cocktail, so I'm already intoxicated. Today, we have Marta Konstacky as the woman that I'm interviewing. She is the artist, the painting artist that has her show in our lower level of the cafeteria. And because I've already drunk the drink, I'm going to have Marta tell you about it because she knows what she wanted and she can tell you best.
So this is a Paloma, and it is a tequila-based beverage made with grapefruit juice instead of a sweet and sour lime mix. It is a reposado muddled with lemon and lime, topped off with a ruby red grapefruit juice, and I opted out of the sugar rim because I'm sweet enough, but
So sweet.
it is good to have a sugar rim with the grapefruit and the tequila, so cheers!
Cheers! Rachel was our bartender today, by the way. So,
Oh, and it's still delicious even though we drank most of our cocktails.
we have been having fun. We had volume issues, so we're going to do this again. As I said, Marta is our painter. I have known Marta for several years. I know her through my son, who is a male revue dancer, and Marta went through a phase where she was doing a lot of burlesque painting to learn how to do bodies, so you know, the muscle structure, and for her it was a challenge also with the different changes of clothing. If you've seen any brilliant burlesque, you'll notice that the costumes are very detailed and there's a lot of movement. And so as a challenge to herself, she became a burlesque painter. And so she did a lot of work for my son, and through that work, I started commissioning her to do paintings for me. And when we bought Cafe Racer, then I wanted Marta's work up on our walls because she also does a lot of cityscapes, and we're in Seattle and I'm very Seattle centric, and I wanted our first artist to be Seattle centric as well, and Marta is and does love Seattle very much. The other piece that I am just learning as we've been doing interviews in the last couple of weeks as we're getting to know each other better, because she's been in our restaurant for 4 months now, is that we're both religious scientists. So not only do we know each other through my son, but we know a lot of similar people because she's a religious science practitioner, which if you are a religious scientist, you know what that means. So I'm going to find out about and share with our audience about your painting, because I know you're an artist in many mediums, but today specifically I want to know about your painting. And so my first question would be, like, how did you get started painting?
It was just something I did just for fun. I was, out of high school, 19, 20 years old, just painting abstract things, lots of color, very psychedelic. I was going to a lot of music festivals, having a lot of fun, and like painting just bright colors and wild stuff. And then I moved to Seattle and I started painting a lot of cityscapes, and I was still taking some of that abstract background and integrating it into my cityscapes, and I had a big galactic phase. One of the first pieces I sold at a gallery was a star exploding behind the skyline of Seattle.
Nice.
And it was the first piece to sell at a Greenwood gallery, which is no longer there. It was called Avanti Art and Design. And so then after I was painting all these cityscapes, this was probably 5 years ago, I wanted to start transitioning into painting more people and animals and things like that. So I started doing the burlesque painting as a challenge. And I was doing that and I started creating a tension amongst the community. People were starting to notice that I was doing figure work, and I started getting asked more and more commissions. And after going to Europe in September, I told myself that I was going to make it more of a career than just a hobby. Instead of doing a commission here or there, I was really going to throw myself into it and become more of a professional in the art world of that.
Nice, nice. So what my observation in life has been is that with every brilliant endeavor comes a little bit of angst, a little bit of blocks and things to kind of stop you, whether they're in your own mind or whether they're actual outside influences. And so I'm kind of curious, because I would consider you a successful painter at this point. Where have you been blocked, or have you had anything that stopped you?
Well, through struggle comes process, and as long as you're trying, you're making progress. Everyone has challenges in their everyday life, and it can be a little, I guess, off-putting, and it can make you kind of feel a little down, and you're not sure if you can pull it off. But at the same time, it gives you that motivation and the drive to say, I can pull it off, and I'm going to try. And it's okay to have a negative feeling every now and again, and it's okay you need to have the balance of dark and light, of good and bad. Take your challenges and let that be, that little ember that sparks your flame,
So you do have darkness sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
So you do feel down on yourself.
And I think everybody does. I tend to be a happy, cheerful person, but also I do have times where I'm feeling a little down, and where life's not going great, whether it's in my mind or if it's outside factors, including friends and family, loss or tragedy, things like that are going to happen in life. But don't let that be, what defines you. Take that and turn it into an action or something that you can give back to the world through struggle, through different challenges.
Nice. So that's good. You overcome adversity, basically.
Yes.
You just push through it, even though there has been some struggles with your art.
Right.
Beautiful, beautiful. So now, the thing that I ask each of my guests are, you're being a female. Sometimes my observation in a patriarchal society is that being a female, sometimes in different in different endeavors, can help or hurt. And sometimes background, because we all come from different backgrounds, your background can help or hurt move you forward. And so as a female, and with your own cultural background, how has that helped or hurt you as an artist? Because that's what you are. That's what you've got, is an artist.
As a female, I've definitely hit a few struggles or speed bumps, because I don't always get taken seriously. And my line of work in the past was a fun job of bartending, and I wasn't always taken seriously in that sense. And sometimes people think, either because you're a woman, you're either gonna succeed or not succeed based on being a girl. Whether I always felt like I wasn't honestly taken seriously in certain aspects, and I kind of had to hold my own and have confidence when regarding certain people or environments. But growing up and being Czechoslovakian, both my parents came from there. They ingrained a really hard work ethic and not to worry about what other people think, and that not always will you be supported, but if you work hard, you can get through it. My grandma and grandpa were a seamstress and a tailor, and they had a textile business in the Czechoslovakia during World War II. And they taught me how to sew, and so that was the beginning of my art. I started off sewing, and then going to ceramics and printmaking, and then ended up painting.
Beautiful. So now I'm kind of curious to expand on your Czech background and being a woman, a Czechoslovakian woman. In that cultural background, as a female, were you treated different being born a girl than you think you would have being born a male? So were you given extra, like in my family, as a female, I wasn't allowed to mow the lawn. Literally, I was not allowed to mow the lawn or to take out the garbage. Like, it just was not, it wasn't part of what I could do. I wanted to mow the lawn and they wouldn't let me. So in your background, were you given any extra favors because you were a girl, or were you pushed harder? Like, don't let your gender
I
hurt
think
you,
I was
or-
pushed harder because at least when my parents were born, my mom was born in 1949, so it was after the First World War, and women had started to work. So my one grandma was a nurse, the other one was a seamstress, and they had to work the whole time because, one was a nurse in the war helping soldiers, and the other one was sewing a lot of the military things. And I think the Czech Republic actually was allies with England, the United Kingdom, and so my grandparents they grew up working. My mom always she worked, and so I grew up having a strong ethic to always work hard, and even if I was a woman, that you still need to work. And my parents, when they actually emigrated here, they had to go to Austria and get their visas. So for 6 months, they ran away. They couldn't tell anybody. And they worked in a shoe factory. And my dad made the soles of the shoes. My mom made the leather part.
Beautiful.
And there they both were, doing the same, not the same job, but, both working to get somewhere else, to get somewhere new. And that was the kind of thing. My parents, they were never going to hand me anything. They weren't going to pay for my school. They weren't going to give me everything. They had to make sure that I was going to get somewhere myself too and work hard.
So male or female, they
Right,
taught you
right.
strict work ethic, which shows up because you are a prolific artist. I mean, you create and create and create. I love the story of having like over 40 pieces of art in your apartment,
Yeah.
just sitting because
Yeah.
you just paint.
Right,
paint.
and when I came back from my trip to Europe, I thought, I have to do something with this. People have to see it. Like some people do, but I really need to get out there. I need to expand. I need to just show the world that I can do something that's cool, that's special, that's brilliant and vibrant and my own, and that's recognized by people in the community. Like you said, people would come to the Cafe Racer and say, "Oh, that's Marta's work. I know it. I recognize it."
Yes.
And I got back from my trip to Europe, and I made a website, and I said, all these 55 pieces of artwork sitting here collecting dust, they have to go somewhere. So I had 33 pieces up at the Cafe Racer, and then I had 22 at the C&C Marta Lounge in Wallingford. And so all these goals, I didn't actually think I was going to accomplish them in September. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. And I experienced these ups and downs, these manic highs and lows, because I was working full time. And during the holidays, I painted 40 paintings in 4 weeks.
40 paintings in 4 weeks.
And I wasn't sleeping, and I was working my bartending job late nights, not going to sleep till 8 or 9 a.m., waking up at 3 to go back to work and then paint all night. And it definitely... It kind of broke me down, but at the same way, it allowed me to build myself back up in a way that works for my life now. Because my life was, a couple years ago, it worked fine the way it was, but then I brought on these new challenges, and I had these new goals and these aspirations, so I had to adjust all aspects of my life to be able to keep going and make sure that I was going to be successful.
And you recently quit
Yes,
your day job.
I did.
So that you can
I
be a
did.
full-time artist.
Uh-huh,
right?
and that was one big challenge, definitely, because it's, what am I doing? Some days I'm like, what have I done? Is this a good idea? Because selling artwork can be inconsistent. You have to sell yourself, be organized, have a good social media presence, and just own it too. Even though I don't know what I'm doing, as long as I carry myself with confidence and I kind of keep up with things, it's okay. No one knows the difference. They can't tell,
Just fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Huh? Fake it till you make it.
And we're all struggling. We all have different challenges in our lives. We all have a different art or therapy that we escape to. And some of us have better ways of hiding it. Some of us choose to have different self-defense mechanisms. And for me, painting's been a big thing. And then turning it into a career is going to make or break me. But it's been almost 3 months, and it's going okay, and it's so far so good. So I'm happy that I kind of shook things up.
Nice. So now, where do we find you? How do we find you? So, I know how to connect with you personally. I have a private number. Lucky me.
Yes.
But if I was a person who came into Cafe Racer, and because I have a huge picture of my family that
Yes,
you painted
yeah.
in my private dining room here at Cafe Racer. So if somebody saw that and said, hey, I want one of those,
So
how would they find you?
I have a website. It's martamissmarta.com.
Marta, is it M-S?
It's M-I-S-S.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marta Miss, M-I-S-S, Marta.com.
And that's also my Instagram name, so people
Marta
can follow
Miss
me on
Marta.
there. And Instagram, I do a lot of time lapse, and a lot of people can kind of see my process, the artistic process, the progress that I'm making, current things I'm working on, and kind of just like a little snapshot into my life, whether I'm going on an adventure or painting. And then I recently moved out of Seattle, so I'm going to try to expand and have some shows in Everett and Lake Stevens, and kind of go a little more north of Seattle and kind of grow my art career. And also I wanted to participate in more festivals and in music events or Pike Place Market and things, so I don't lose my presence in the Seattle community, because Seattle was such a big part of getting my artwork out there and just my growth, and it's shaped me to be the woman I am today. Everything is, if I didn't come to Seattle, I wouldn't be this, where I am. I wouldn't be here in the Cafe Racer with you.
Yeah. So if you've come to Cafe Racer, there is, I guess I would call it iconic, because to me it is iconic Cafe Racer. There is a woman outside and her skirt is blowing up and it's got the Cafe Racer, you know, the logo.
Yes.
I love that. We used it, Jeff was cooking on one of the local TV shows, and we had that painting right
Yes,
there.
displayed, and I
Yes.
saw that and I was like, this is so cool, like how full circle. And the thing is, you said that you were, what did you call yourself, a Seattle centric?
I'm Seattle-centric.
And-
I'm fourth generation Seattleite. My grandfather came here to run the gas company that's Gasworks Park. I am Seattle-centric.
And when I moved here, I didn't realize Seattle loves Seattle, so it was like such a full circle thing to have my artwork in one of my favorite cafes that's so close to my heart, that, you know, all the artwork was revolving around Seattle, and the music and the culture and just everything, the vitality that drives the city. So it's so cool. Yeah.
I'm so grateful
Me too.
to have you as our first visual artist.
And thanks
here
so much
in
for the
Cafe
opportunity
Racer.
too. I honestly it couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
It was the wonderful meld of our past with burlesque and our present here at Cafe Racer. You really brought both of them together, and so I really appreciate that. So today's been with Marta Konstacky, and you can find her at Marta Miss Marta, or hopefully sitting at our bar drinking one of these lovely tequila drinks with grapefruit.
The Paloma. Oh,
The
yes.
Paloma, made by our bartender, Rachel.
Cheers.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm finishing my drink. And I'm drunk.